This is the Main Street Gamers End of the Year Awards podcast. I am your host, Chris Ingles, alongside my marvelous co-host, Taylor Davis. Taylor, how are we doing today?
Great, man.
Are
2014
are you ready
finally.
to don our digital tuxedos and give out some virtual hardware?
Let's do it, man.
You know what?
Let me.
Let's not even wait. Let's just launch right into it. The award for best racing game. The nominees are as follows:
Bum, bum,
Gran
bum.
Turismo 6, Forza Motorsport 5, and Need for Speed Rivals. And the award for best racing game goes to Forza Motorsports 5.
Forza 5.
Davis, you've had quite a bit of time with Forza 5. What do you think of it so far?
Um, it's definitely the best Forza game for sure, and compared to the other racing games that like this year's brought, it's really there's really not much competition. So
You know what sold it for me? The Drivatars.
absolutely, 100%.
Because that
It's
I mean,
really
that's the future right there, right? Because I
yeah.
mean, that's a mechanic that's being used in a racing game that could apply to any kind of game, a
It's
sports game, a
fantastic.
shooting game, anything.
It's great technology. It's really awesome. It adds a lot to the gameplay. Cause like at first, when I first heard about it, I didn't know exactly like how it was gonna work or anything. But like in one of my races, I got passed by Major Nelson, and I actually paused the game and I was like, "Wait a minute, what's happening? Like this is a single play. This is single player. How is Major Nelson in this game?" And then I realized what it was, and it's fantastic because now you're not getting your butt kicked by just in like on a rail AI. Like, a prime example of this is, um, it was like one of the last two turns to the finish line, and I was in second place, and Major Nelson's drive tower was in front of me, and he just spun out around a corner, and it managed to give me some time to catch up and actually have a chance for first place. It
Yeah,
was
that's what
awesome.
I mean. It'll be interesting to see how this sort of technology is implemented in other games in the future. But the forward thinking of the Forza Motorsports team has earned them the Main Street Gamers Racing Game of the Year award. Next award, Best RPG. Davis, you spent a lot of time with this game. The game that's going to win it here today. The nominees are Ni no Kuni, Tales of Exilia, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, and Mario and Luigi Dream Team. And the winner is Ni no Kuni. Davis, again, take it away. I know you spent a lot of time with this game recently.
We could sit here and do a podcast about this game alone, like right now, of my love for this game. So over New Year's, my girlfriend has a PS3, which I don't own anymore, and I decided to download it. It's only $20 right now on demand if you want to pick this game up. And basically, what this game is it's Pokemon with magic. What else do you need?
Shut up.
Yeah, that's what this game is. It's fantastic. In 2 days, I put 20 hours into it and asked her if I could bring her PlayStation home, because I didn't want to put this game down. It is fantastic. I recommend it to anybody, everybody.
That sounds like a
Yeah,
ringing endorsement.
yeah,
I'll have
it's
to check that
amazing,
one out.
dude. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you're a PlayStation owner, you definitely, and if you're big, it's a JRPG, but like it's not overwhelming Japanese. And if you're a fan of Pokemon, this is definitely a game you should pick
Yeah,
up. I'm
that's
excited to
another
get
thing.
back down there.
This is another topic that we have to discuss someday. That now is really not the time to get into it. But why are the good RPGs always Japanese games? Why
Because they
do
know how to do it, man.
why, why do the Japanese love and make RPGs, and why do Americans not really get into them or play them that much?
I don't know. We really should. This game's fantastic.
Yeah,
Like I
so if
said,
you
I didn't leave the
what,
couch one day. It was straight 9 hours of gameplay, and I didn't want it. And I didn't
if
want to
you
put it
are
down. That was
a
the best part.
PlayStation 3 owner, you should go out and check that out. The next award we're going to talk about, Best Sports Game. Now, I'm a big fan of the sports game, so this one is near and dear to my heart. The nominees were uh, FIFA 14, MLB 13, The Show, NHL 14, and of course the winner, NBA 2K14.
Yeah, this
I
wasn't
cannot talk
much.
about how I love this game enough. Uh, it's just, it just is so good. It looks so good. It's arguably the best next gen game, which I think is crazy.
Yeah,
Like when
we
have when
didn't.
have sports games ever been on the forefront of technology? And I mean, honestly, it's been this way since NBA 2K8. Like no game has even touched NBA. It's
Yeah, I mean,
wonderful.
FIFA's good too, but it's nothing compares to 2K14.
It just looks so good. And you'll hear about that in the best graphics category later as well. But yeah, you just really there's really nothing it can compete with. And there was no boxing game this year. So EA makes really good boxing games, but there's not one this year, and it doesn't look like we might ever get one again. So
Yeah, imagine. I mean, imagine a fight night with Kinect now. That might be something
well,
interesting.
it's not even the Connect. It would just be so easy to make it look good because
Oh yeah,
boxing is like a sport you can zoom in so far on. Like it would just be
yeah.
really easy. But
Watch
it looks
people's
like
teeth
EA
fly
has
out.
sort of switched their focus to the MMA stuff because they paid
Yeah,
UFC a ton of money for the licensing rights for the EA Sports is making a UFC game. So
yep.
look for that in 2014. Next category, Best Platformer. The nominees are New Luigi U, Rayman Legends, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, and DuckTales Remastered. And the winner is Rayman Legends, actually. No surprise here if you listen to the
Yeah.
show or read anything on our website. We loved this game. And another great thing about it, it's coming to the next gen consoles, so
Yeah,
if you haven't
dude.
got a chance to check it out yet, I'm sure it's gonna look beautiful. It looked amazing on the last gen. It's a ton of fun. There's a ton of different gameplay options. It's co-op, so we'll probably end up doing some Let's Plays on that because I'm sure
Dude, that
I
would
think we're
be.
both planning on picking that up when it comes out.
Yeah, that's a
And I
must
think
buy for
is that
next
this
year.
month
I think
or
so.
January? January?
Or is it February? I can't remember. It might be
Either
February.
way, either way,
Come
we
soon.
will be picking that up. Check it out. It's amazing. The music levels. Well, the one thing I want to reiterate with this game is it's so upsetting once you play it to see how little Mario has uh,
Yeah, you talked about
progressed,
that.
which we've
You check
talked
out that
about, and I'm
review.
going to talk. We're going to rail on again today at the end of this episode when I rant about a game for 45 minutes. Uh, yeah, it's just the music levels are something that I really enjoy out of this, and if you've ever played it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, a platformer that you have to run really fast, and it's set to music. There's one level per world, and they were arguably the most creative things I've ever seen in a video game.
They are beautiful.
So if you haven't checked that out, wait for it on the next gen because it's going to look amazing. All right, the next category, Best 3D Action Adventure Game. And the nominees are BioShock Infinite, The Last of Us, Assassin's Creed 4, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Super Mario 3D World. And this is like the first hotly contested category I would say that we
Yeah.
had.
This is a big one.
And we had to go with BioShock Infinite here. Just because of some of the radical changes it made. We were so used to these dark, grim, post-apocalyptic world, but it kind of threw you into the middle of this vibrant city that colorful and some no, we hadn't seen a game like this in a long time, so I was very excited for it. I really enjoyed it, and it definitely deserves the honor of best 3D action adventure game.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not, that's definitely not the best shooter by any means. It's definitely not the best overall game, but the adventure it takes you on, there's really nothing that compares to it. Like it's pretty easy to pick that as the best
And
adventure
like
game.
the hook stuff was really cool.
Yeah, it was really
That's
yeah, it was
something
really
that's
cool.
easily forgotten is that hook mechanic that I really enjoyed. I thought it was really cool.
I just liked how it was so different, but it still felt like BioShock, and it was the story was
Yeah, that's
amazing.
very true. The story was really cool.
It's a great story
Uh,
to talk about too.
oh yeah. Someday we'll have to have like a 55-minute podcast where we talk about the story from that game because I'm still not quite
Super
sure what
late
happened. You
spoiler
just have to explain it
cast.
to me.
All right.
Uh, so the next category, best handheld game. It was actually a really good year for handheld games.
Yeah, it was.
And you didn't, I mean, these four nominees that were the finalists are all excellent games. Pokemon X and Y, Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Uh, it's a pretty obvious choice here. What the answer is? That's winner is Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Did you see that Polygon gave this their Game of the Year
Really, I wanted.
across all
That doesn't.
platforms? Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, it was a
No.
fantastic game.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I kind of. It's
I need
exciting.
to.
I still wonder. It's not going to get as much. is not. It's not many people are gonna as many people are gonna play it because it's a handheld game, but I'm still excited that it did well and that it's getting sort of the recognition that it deserves because it is a fantastic game.
Absolutely.
Uh, Other ones though, Pokemon X and Y. Sad to see that get beat, to be
Pokemon.
honest with you.
It was a
That was
fantastic
fun.
game, but I mean, it's Pokemon universe. As much as like we're fans of it, it's still such a narrow crowd. Really,
And
I
I
mean,
feel like
everybody knows Zelda.
it's basically been the same game too. I mean,
Absolutely, yeah. It's
it
Pokemon's
suffers from a lot of the
Pokemon.
same problems Mario does. Uh,
Doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, but it's necessarily not good either. Not changing wise,
yeah,
not the game.
it's
You know.
like it doesn't wow me anymore. You know,
Yeah, you know what you're getting yourself into. So, still great
because
though if
like
you're a Pokemon fan.
the biggest wow moment, arguably, of this game was when they gave you the original starter after they had already given. You know,
Yeah, you get 2 starters, and
that was
I want to say
arguably the
this.
biggest wow moment.
Best
Go for
part
it.
is so like your friends in this game, they give you a nickname based on your
Oh yeah,
name you choose, and so I put in Davis for my character's name, and then
they called you Big D.
yeah, that's my nickname of the game. Coincident?
Big
I don't
D.
think so.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know. I, I don't know. Pokemon just doesn't do it for me anymore. I mean, like I
I
enjoy it,
mean
but it's not gonna ever. I don't think it'll ever wow me again.
you're also in your 20s now, so it's a little different.
Yeah, but like I feel like I still get excited about Mario and stuff. I mean, there's no
Absolutely,
reason I
but
wouldn't get excited about this. Anyway, next category is best graphics, and the nominees are Grand Theft Auto 5, Rise: Son of Rome, Battlefield 4, Super Mario 3D World, and NBA 2K14. And the winner is Rise: Son of Rome. So for not having that fun of gameplay, the how amazing the game looks definitely makes up for it.
absolutely, the game does look fantastic. That's about all I can say about it. I mean, like
Well, it's like
it's really good staged environments of how like what showing off what it can do. If it was a good game throughout it, it would have gotten a better award. But that's basically all we can give Rise.
yeah, and I kind of am waiting to see a game like this or graphics like this on an open world game because, like you said, it was all staged, very
Yep, linear.
all very pre-canned staged
I have
environments
a
where you
I
can't
have a
dictate any of the environment. So
I have a really wonderful idea of what a game like Rise could become and could be fantastic.
do you
I
think we see
don't
a sequel to Rise?
No, absolutely not because I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
think so
spoil
either.
it. No spoiler, but it's not gonna
Well,
happen.
I just yeah, but I
But
mean, and I don't see
maybe I
Crytek
don't.
signing on to make another
Yeah,
one. Do you?
no, not really.
Like that's the biggest issue I think. But
Have you played? There's this game on 360 called Rise of the Argonauts. I don't know if you've played it. It's a role play
it's like a
adventure.
cartoony kind of game.
Not really. It's
Oh,
a role play adventure with the gods. Like you get to
oh,
go,
I've not played that.
you go to different lands and you get different god powers and stuff. Make that open world with Rise, like the way Rise looks. That's the game I want to play. Then we're talking.
Sadly, we won't ever see that.
No,
We just won't.
no,
Uh,
absolutely not. But that's what I want to see.
Next award, best gameplay. So, and the nominees are Grand Theft Auto 5, Super Mario 3D World, Battlefield 4, and Tomb Raider. And the winner is Grand Theft Auto 4.
5.
I mean, yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5. Arguably, anyway, um, I mean, yeah,
I mean,
we had to give it it had
yeah,
to be
obviously.
best gameplay. We had
You
to give it
can't beat
something
that
'cause
gameplay.
yeah, it's very entertaining. I would say it suffers in some parts because of like it tried to do too much, but uh, it's still between
It's
the
still
shooting,
Grand Theft
the
Auto, and
the shooting, the movement, and the driving mechanics are all top notch. So you just had to give it to it.
yep,
And it invented enough while also staying like true to the original that I thought it was really good.
it was. It was fantastic.
Yep. And the last award, well, the last major award we're going to discuss that we have a pre-chosen winner for is Game of the Year. The nominees are BioShock Infinite, Tomb Raider, Grand Theft Auto 5, The Last of Us, Super Mario 3D World. Davis, you want to reveal the winner?
The winner for Game of the Year of 2013 from MainStreetGamers.com is The Last of Us.
Woo! I'm on board with this decision.
There's
It was the
streamers
best game I
everywhere.
played this year. It was the best game I played this year.
Absolutely. The story, the characters, like nothing lacked. That was the thing about The Last of Us. When I played through it, there really was. I didn't have a complaint throughout the whole time.
Yeah, it just felt like such a smooth experience. It felt like a blockbuster movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's dumb to say that that's what you want out of a game, but it is what I mean, it's kind of what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, you want to sit there and, sit through an experience that is not going to take you 40 hours necessarily, but you still feel like you got your money's worth throughout the entire story.
As we
like when
progress into different, like as we progress further in gaming, I kind of am starting to respect games that tell a concise, short story more.
Yeah,
You know, like I don't
absolutely.
want to play just forever and ever and like rank my character up to level 700 and
Well,
have to basically be a god from
it's
playing for 100 hours and never get to like a real ending.
it's different if you're playing an RPG, like specifically because that's what it is. But like, if you want a story and you want to see it to completion, and you don't want to do either monotonous grinding or just repetitiveness, because that's what was wrong with Rise. That's really what makes a good game, or a game of the year. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep, and I think that's fair.
And have fun doing it the entire time, because which I did.
So, Davis, how do you think this year was in gaming overall?
There was a lot of good. I mean,
I thought it was a bad year overall.
overall, it was a
Because
bad year.
overall, I think it was a bad year.
Really?
Like, nothing. Like, part of it was because of the new consoles. Like, we didn't get
Yeah,
we didn't get a real slate of holiday games,
that's true.
and it was kind of like it was because it was just disappointing because the games that we played in the first half of the year on our old consoles that came out now are already like super dated because of the new
Yeah.
hardware. And none of the games on the new hardware are that great yet, so we're just kind of like stuck in this limbo until next Christmas, I think. Maybe Titanfall will be the one to break that mold, but I feel like none of the new gen games are that great, and all the old gen ones feel dated now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And another deal is, since we came to an end this generation, like end of this generation this year, everything was a lot of 3s and 4s. There wasn't very many new IPs, and that's another reason why Last of Us got Game of the Year.
And yeah, well, that's a huge risk for Naughty Dog to take, and I think it really paid off for them.
Absolutely,
Because they could have easily done Uncharted 4.
which is still gonna happen.
Yeah, well, that's
next
happening,
gen.
but now they kind of have to take it in a new direction.
Next gen.
So
Yeah, I
this
understand
year
what
will
you're saying.
definitely-
There was a lot of good games, though. I mean,
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, there was a lot of good games, but there's nothing that wowed us, I thought.
yeah, There was a
Like,
lot of
even
hype.
Last of Us, good game, not a world beater.
No, definitely not one of the best games of all time by any means.
Yeah. So
And
here's a little perspective though. So I have this right. But in terms of like how this year stacks up against other years, it like I kind of did some research and it actually stacked up pretty poorly, to be honest with you. But I do have a little like good news for you. Uh, if the Xbox 360 was any sort of indication, we won't be getting any great games until 2015. Because like the Xbox 360, the 360 launched in 05.
Yep.
And the games really didn't get good until 2007.
Wasn't it like Cameo and stuff? All those games came out.
Yep, Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark and stuff.
Big launch game, but
And we knew this was gonna happen.
06 was not great. 07 was amazing. 07 was Assassin's Creed, the first Assassin's Creed game. Call of Duty 4, which was like arguably the best.
Call of Duty 4 is fantastic.
2007 was also BioShock, Witcher, Dirt.
Witcher, dude. Yeah,
It's
Dirt is
really when
fantastic
games
too.
took off. It's really
Yeah,
like games really didn't take off
absolutely.
until '07 for that console for that gen. So we might have another dry year, but
I don't.
hopefully there'll be enough
We're
good
gonna get.
to
We're gonna
outweigh the
get some.
bad.
Like we're gonna get Titanfall. We're gonna get Watch Dogs. We're gonna get Destiny.
It
I
really
feel
comes
like.
down to what we get at the holiday though.
Yeah.
Because like those games you just listed, they're not enough. Like we need a couple more like AAA ones for next holiday. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure they're gonna be there.
Yeah. Right now, because all those games I mentioned
Because
are
I'm not
like
sure
first and
we're
second
getting. I
quarter.
don't think we're getting Uncharted. I don't think we're getting Halo this year.
I don't think so either. If we do, I'm kind of worried about them.
Well, let me clarify that. I know we're not getting Uncharted, but I don't think we're getting.
I don't know.
And
Yeah,
like you said, if we are they super rushed? Are they gonna be like what we want them to be?
probably not.
Kind of a scary year. Like I don't remember a year going into a year with this much uncertainty. Because like at least last year we knew there were going to be new consoles, and like so that automatically gets you excited. But like if you're a gamer this year, what are you getting excited about? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
Titanfall is like we've heard is good, but it's
I'm
basically
excited for
Call
it.
of Duty.
I
It's
know,
basically
but
Call of Duty though.
it's still a fresh spin on it at least. You know.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I'm just a little worried this year.
Yeah, I understand. We'll get through it
So a
together.
couple things. Yeah, we'll get through it. We'll be right about how crappy it is. Uh, a couple things I wanted to talk about just in general is
So we got well,
is
we get
go
we got
ahead,
some other
somebody.
categories
Oh
that
yeah, so I
we
wanted to just
let's talk about that.
that's a good point. Good thing I forgot that. We just kind of wanted to get into some of the like just like a sort of discussion about some of these other categories. We don't have any nominees for them or anything. Davis, what was the best multiplayer experience?
To sum up 2013, the best multi it has to be Battlefield 4
Yep, I
for me.
100%.
I didn't really play
That's
anything else multiplayer.
that's arguably the newest experience we had this year, right?
Yeah,
It's
because
so
Grand Theft
good.
Auto Online was just such a pile of crap.
Yep, that was arguably one of my biggest disappointments this year.
Yep.
That's another thing I wanted to discuss. Biggest disappointment, definitely Grand Theft Auto 5. The single player was fantastic. The
Yeah,
online
GTA
was
Online
pretty
disappointment.
crappy. Yep. Um, some surprises this year. Oh, best multiplayer for me is probably also Battlefield. Can't think of another game that I sunk a ton of time into.
No,
Uh,
we need to tear into Dead Rising. We need to do that, but
yeah,
it's
we
still
haven't, we
not.
haven't.
It's not that. It's not really a multiplayer experience necessarily. That's cooperative, if
Uh,
anything.
we had some fun with that though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
We
co-op.
have a little bit. Yeah, we haven't got a ton into it. Uh, Another great multiplayer experience I had this year was Splinter Cell. They brought
Yeah,
back like the spies versus mercs thing. So 3 people are mercenaries, 3 people are spies. Spies have to hack, the mercenaries have to defend.
yeah, that's
That's always
fantastic.
a ton of fun.
I've watched
Peggle
plenty of Let's
2,
Plays on that.
one more thing I wanted to mention. The
Hmm.
Peggle 2 multiplayer, also fantastic. And hopefully we'll see even more of that in 2022
Yeah,
with some new game modes. But I
I'm
really
excited for
like the
that.
way they did the multiplayer for this one, where you can shoot at the same time, different boards. I thought it was a really clever way to do it.
What else
The
we got?
next other most disappointing game.
I'm gonna. When it comes to disappointment for me, and like a game that let me down, I'm gonna say Call of Duty Ghost was
Yeah, that's
my
exactly what I was gonna say. Because I took a year
most
off of Call of
disappointing
Duty,
game.
and I was super excited for it. And
And it's just
I,
disappointing.
the first day, I was like, "Hey, this is actually pretty solid. I like this game." Then after that first day, I just haven't picked it back up.
I
And
mean,
part of it is
Extinction's there.
Battlefield is so much more better than anyone expected, kind of.
Yeah, and like the
Right? Like no
single
one saw
player,
Battlefield coming.
I'll say this about the single player. Call of Duty Ghost single player was crap. If
Yep,
they
it
do,
would no like there's no effort.
no, but in a sense, it could be a possible gateway to a really good Call of Duty story if they make the sequel, and if they do it right, it could be good. So this could be a
With how
good
poorly
like
this one was received, though, do you see them coming back to the Ghost thing?
I mean, I want to see what I have in my mind is what I want to see, because then it would be a great story
So,
from the
let me finish
ending.
the story. Are you talking about a spoiler? Okay.
I'm not gonna say anything
We're gonna
more.
talk
You
about
need
spoilers for the next 45 seconds. So
no.
if
You
you
need.
don't want to know what happens, skip ahead. Dude, what
Are we doing
happens? I
this?
don't even. I have no will to
All
forget.
right, all right. This is a spoiler alert, alert, alert. Okay, you've had your time.
Or,
At the end of the game, you kill Rourke, right?
okay.
The train
Okay.
blows up. He dies. You're on this beach with your brother, and there's freaking planes flying over, and it's all grand. And then it cuts to credits, and I'm like, well, like that was terrible. After the credits roll, it cuts back to that beach. Rourke is alive now. He grabs you, pulls you away, and he's like, you're going to become a ghost killer. I'm going to train you. You're going to kill all the ghosts. So
But
if
is
you...
the dad alive at the end?
Yes, he's alive. No, he's dead. Sorry, he's dead.
Okay,
He died.
dies.
He dies. So
That's a
now
little bit
you get drug away with Rourke, and he's gonna train you to become a ghost killer. If Call of Duty Ghost 2 happens, or what I think it's gonna be called Ghost Killer, and you play as the antagonist, fantastic. Call of Duty's never done that.
Yeah, that's a cool.
Like that's
a
some
cool spin.
M-dub no Russian stuff. Like that mission, everybody loves that stuff. Imagine an entire campaign like that. Could be a fantastic story if it's done right.
You know
If
what
it's
I
anything
kind of
like
wanted to see?
what's that?
This was the first thing that so the first clip is like about how those guys held off like a whole group of people, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted like how did I not get to play that? That was the most exciting
Yeah,
part
I
of
know.
the story.
The hype for Call of Duty Ghosts and like the trailers and stuff about like ancient warriors. Where was that from? That's not the same game. It
Well,
was
it's funny
such a
'cause, like,
disappointment.
it was so disappointing because like I saw that opening clip and I'm like, hey, this could actually be really cool. Then they basically did away with that right away.
Yeah, because I thought you were gonna be like low on ammo. It's gonna be post-apocalyptic. No, you still fight for an army and you have plenty of ammo the entire time. There's one little mission where you're in the jungle with nothing but a knife, but it was so easy that it just didn't. It was just dumb. It was just dumb. Call of Duty Ghosts,
The
dumb.
ghost killer thing could be cool. I'm on
Yeah,
board
absolutely.
if they're gonna,
Yeah,
if they're gonna be the
he
bad
could
guy.
be. He could be fantastic. So yeah, that's my biggest
Get excited for
disappointment.
that, yeah. That sounds cool. Another game I want to talk about funnest game because I feel like fun and quality sometimes don't always go hand in hand.
Nope.
What game did you really enjoy that necessarily wasn't a great game?
Oh, game that I enjoyed that wasn't necessarily. Well, okay. This game's gonna take two of my categories then.
Okay.
It's State of Decay.
Oh, I
State
like
of
that.
Decay
I like that
was a
choice.
lot of fun. The story sucked. I didn't even hardly pay attention. Graphics weren't that there. It was really buggy and stuff at first, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing it. It surprised me because I
It
always,
did
I
really well
mean,
in sales too, so you're probably seeing a sequel. Which
yeah, I want a more open world sequel. That would be awesome. But yeah, that game definitely surprised me, and I definitely had a lot of fun playing it. Doesn't mean it was necessarily a good game by any means. I mean, it was a good game, but it wasn't a great game. So I did it for me. What about you?
I think that game for me is probably Dead Rising 3. Because like Dead
Yeah, that
Rising
game's
3
fun.
is a great game.
It's
But
so
it's
fun
it's a
though.
lot of fun. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Did I tell you I got like a fire reaper scythe thing now? I upgraded
Did
again.
I
So
tell
now
you? Oh yeah, no, I didn't hear that. Did you get the dragon
Yeah.
thing? What's that called? I
uh
really enjoy that game. I think I went over like 50,000 kills the other day.
nice. I just need to tear.
Crazy number.
I've been tearing. I played a little bit more. I put some more time into it. I had a big a big problem with that though. I was fighting one of the.
Oh
or-
yeah, tell this story. This is weird. You haven't said this on the pod.
So you're fighting Psycho. That's what they're called, right? You know
Yeah.
what they're called. And it's in the food buffet, like the buffet. And she's in a wheelchair, and she's really fat, and she's just like, "This is my food. I'm gonna kill you if you don't leave or whatever." So you have to fight her. And she does this thing where she's in a motorized wheelchair or whatever, scooter thing, and she just drives around and stuff. And I was running around like in the corner of the buffet, and she was like behind me off screen, and all of a sudden I hear a crash, of like glass breaking, and I turn and I see one of like the boarded up windows, like glass sprays out of it, and she was gone. I was like, what just happened? And I was freaking out because I was like, all right, am I gonna have to restart this? Because she was almost dead. She had 2 bars of health left, and I was already like playing for like 20 or 25 minutes to figure out how to beat this lady. So then I go outside, like it lets me leave the place now. I go outside. She's in a little fenced in like flower.
She's trapped in the shrubs.
Yeah, she's like trapped in there. She can't attack me or anything. She's just yelling, and her scooter's just hauling butt into the side of the wall. And I was like, and I didn't have any I had nothing on me, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I realized like there's a down chopper down the road. Well, there's like a bazillion zombies outside, so I get the roller hog and I just drive back and forth to clear them out. And then I go to the down chopper, I get an assault rifle and grenades. I go back, so I'm like shooting her point blank with my assault rifle, and nothing's happening. And I'm like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do? And I threw a grenade from the outside, and it there's like an invisible wall like in the barrier she was in, so I couldn't get a grenade into her from the outside. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go back inside. I throw a grenade. It perfectly lands on like the windowsill, blows up and kills her.
That's so
Just
weird.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like how she just slammed through a window and got stuck. Like that's why Dead Rising is not a good game. But it was a
How
lot
much
of fun.
more of that stuff do you think we're gonna see because people can record it so easily?
We're gonna
now?
see all kinds of stuff. Well, I have an idea that I want us to do is a podcast of you and me sitting through all of our recorded clips and then talking about it and like explaining what happened. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Only had one like really weird glitch, and that was in Battlefield. I jumped out of a plane. Like I was in test range. I like to just mess around in there, and I was like went way up in a plane or a helicopter or something, and I jumped out of the plane, and I was just like free falling to the earth, like gonna kill myself. But at the last second, I decided to pull my parachute, like right as I was hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my parachute opened, and instead of dying, because like my parachute didn't open in time, I just went through the ground and like landed in water below the. Like I basically went through the ground, and like was below the ground in water, and I could like
Below the
see
map.
up like the buildings and trees and stuff if I looked up, but couldn't see the ground. And then I could still shoot the targets and stuff.
I know
I have a
exactly
bunch of-
what you're talking about. That happened to me
Yeah.
in Assassin's Creed, I want to say Brotherhood, where I tried to jump off of a horse, and my guy was just doing like this permanent free fall, and then all of a sudden, I was in water, and I could see the bottom of the entire map. It was crazy. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
the best time that ever happened to me was when I was playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 on my Xbox. And like I was just falling through this, like I hit a ramp weird, and like I just started falling, and I could still do tricks. So like my point score was like going up
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
with the tricks I did. But like I never got to land it because I had to eventually just shut off the Xbox.
But, yeah.
Okay, so next thing I wanted to talk about, most surprising game.
Like I said, State of K surprised me a lot.
State of Decay surprised me. I really enjoyed. Well, Peggle was a surprise. We knew it'd be good, but I also didn't think we'd ever get a sequel to it. So,
Yeah, that was a good surprise.
and I also didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
Charlie Murder surprised me. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That was one of the
You know what
biggest.
surprised me? How awful. What was that game?
Flashback. You don't even remember the
Flashback
name
was.
of it?
Dude, it was so bad. Oh,
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
it had
You
so
got-
much promise too. It looked really cool.
You got shafted so hard on Summer Arcade.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wasn't awful.
No, it definitely wasn't good by any means.
Yeah,
I
that's
definitely made out with that.
fair. Okay, so there's one more thing I wanted to discuss, and I want to talk about the year in general, kind of. And we already kind of talked about how if it was a good year in games, but I wanted to talk about like trends and like the direction of gaming. So this is the question I want to pose to you. It's kind of complex. Are you happy with the direction that gaming is headed?
You know, that's really tough. It's really tough to answer that
Yeah, it is.
because
Because I gotta
we've
be honest with you,
seen-
I'm not thrilled.
yeah, me either. Really, there's been a couple like here and there. There's some hope for some like the future and stuff, but like just we've seen so many 3s and 4s of stuff, and like so many sequels, and then like Call of Duty has just become this like sport now, and
Yeah.
like everything just. I don't want to say people like developers are like milking stuff, but like
Oh,
they've
they
come out
totally are.
and
I mean, that's
but
fine.
they've come out and
That's
said
fair.
it now. They've come out and said it. Like Watch Dogs, the Ubisoft guys, like we're not making Watch Dogs, we're making Watch Dogs 1 through 7. That's what they're like committing to. I don't necessarily like that. I like fresh new ideas, but like I like fresh new ideas that aren't indie or like have to be arcade, because that's what it feels like. Is if somebody's gonna do something like completely new, it has to be indie or it
Well,
has
it's
to
just it
be
comes down to major publishers not wanting to take a risk on a new idea because the old
yeah.
ideas keep paying off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I don't want video games to just become like it's becoming a more powerful industry and like it's being a lot more, like more money and stuff, but like I don't want it to just become Hollywood,
You know what
I
scares me more
guess.
than anything though? Like that's an issue, but you know what scares me? The sort of like economic structure that we're headed for.
Yeah.
Of like having to like not being able to just buy the game and play it. Of having to like pay a subscription or pay per play or because like it'll I think Elder Scrolls Online will do well despite that problem.
I'm not going to play it though.
Yeah, and that's what just scares me because like if that does well, will other companies be like, will Call of Duty be like, hey, we should just charge $10 a month instead of charging $60 a year?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's really tough.
And
I don't
like,
want it. I don't want that to
I
happen.
want to pay one time for like an experience. You know what I mean? Like Last of Us. I want to pay one time and play that. I don't want any DLC. I want it to be over. Like,
Yep.
it should be like a movie where it's like they tell a concise story, and then you're done. Like,
Yep.
I don't know. I just don't like the DLC and everything. I just don't like the way the industry's headed.
It's just hard to get back
And
into it sometimes too.
yeah.
Like especially
Well,
when
the
you've
thing about it
completed
is
it.
either the DLC is done right away, so like done when the game comes out basically, and there's like no thought put into it, or the DLC comes out later and you're not
Yeah.
like you
There's
don't want to play
no
that game anymore.
there's no happy medium.
Yeah,
What if
they're just like there no company has done that in a way that I've been like, "Oh, that was really cool." Like
What if it just unlocks after you beat it and nobody like says anything about it? And it's like, "Oh, like
like
you put enough time into this, like I guess that's there." But
when
that wouldn't really
BioShock
work either.
Infinite came, like I never played the BioShock Infinite DLC, and I'm a huge BioShock fan because I just wasn't like by the time it came out, I was done. Like I was just kind of done with that world. I'd played the game through twice. I was kind of like, eh.
It's because of it's because who we are as a gamer. It's like we want everything and we want it now, and it's like for us we
Well,
just like
if
to
the
we like
DLC had come out with the game, I would have been really mad. But I also
exactly.
would have been more. I probably would have been more likely to play it if it had come out when the game came out.
Yeah, especially this is a different year too because like the next gen and stuff, and like what other games came out at that same time. We were just
Yeah.
invested in other things because it was
And you know
happening.
what DLC I really liked? I really enjoyed the Batman Arkham. I gotta think of which one. Arkham City
Origins, oh City,
DLC because it unlocked a new character. Like you played as Catwoman,
yeah, that's
and you
cool.
could play as Robin, and you could play as Nightwing. But the only reason I liked it was because I bought the Game of the Year edition. So like I got it all at once for one price. Like I wouldn't have enjoyed. Like I never would have even played it if I'd bought Arkham City at launch and then played the game, and then the DLC came out like 6 months later.
Yeah, it's tough. DLC's tough.
And it's going to be really interesting with Grand Theft Auto 5 because they have said that there's going to be story DLC, and how is that going to work?
I don't know
Like
if I want
people
that.
have literally given that game up because they're going next gen.
You
You
have,
know,
you've
it'll be
done it.
weird. So that was basically 2013 in gaming. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Davis? Any other hot button issue you feel like
Uh
we need to discuss?
Not really. I mean, I know there's a couple other games here and there that were good and stuff, but like,
Yeah, we missed a couple like really good games. We didn't talk about any of the indie stuff like Gone Home, Stanley Parable, stuff like that. I don't know.
yeah,
I just
they're
those
not
games too. I don't get excited for those.
they're not games like most of them
Yeah,
really. You know.
we didn't talk about Walking Dead. That was kind of last year, but
Yeah, Walking Dead is so. I know it's a good game, but like, I'm so done with Walking Dead from like the
Here's
TV
another
show and
issue that I
stuff.
have with the industry in general is like I hate that we have to think of those like I hate that they're like, oh, it has a good story, so we don't need to put any action in it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
Like
do it for me.
why can't good stories also have action? Like why do we have to have these interactive story games? Why can't they be interactive or just games like where we where you have something
Yeah,
to do in them?
that's funny
Like
because I downloaded The Wolf Among Us.
yeah.
Episode 1 was is free, and like I was playing it, but it's like I just get so bored playing it. It's like is
How
there
does that work?
like
Do you get to make decisions and stuff in that?
yeah, you get to make decision. It says people reminded and stuff. It's just it's an interactive story, is what it is. Like you said,
Yeah.
I wish there's an option where it's like, can I just watch this unfold? I mean, you're basically doing
Like
it, but like it's
that's
still
kind of like
like
the Mass Effect thing where the Mass Effect gave you the option to just like basically watch the game.
yeah, it was really cool. If you
Yeah.
don't
I like
like
that
play
option,
games,
but I don't want to necessarily be forced to just watch or like make
yeah,
choices for my character.
it shouldn't be a game at that point, right? It should just be a movie or a web series. You know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to make
'Cause now,
choices if
and
it's
now
not
that
an
Telltale is
RPG.
taking off, it's really weird that they're gonna because we're gonna see 100 more of these, you know, now. Now that
I
Walking
know
Dead is
it's gonna be
popular,
yeah,
we're
it's gonna
already
be a
getting Game of
Borderlands
Thrones, we're already getting
one.
Borderlands. Yep.
Borderlands that doesn't seem cool to me now that I think about it. Like watching my Borderlands character just hit A, and he says something different, you know, and
We will have to see. I don't know. Maybe Telltale can find a way.
squirrely
What
will
I always
remember
wondered is
it.
why can't they put mini games in there?
Yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
it'd be cool if it was like a collection of puzzles. I don't know how it would
Yeah,
work, but I think it'd be really cool, like an Indiana Jones one where you had to like break puzzles,
that would be
sort of
cool.
like God of War. You know how the puzzles in God of War are.
Speaking of
Come at
puzzles,
me, Telltale. I got plenty of ideas.
there were puzzles in Ni no Kuni, dude. The game just keeps getting better as I played it.
I thought about doing puzzle game, best puzzle game, but the puzzle game really doesn't exist anymore.
No, Peggle. That's my answer.
Peggle's not really even a puzzle game.
Not really. I know there aren't really puzzle games anymore, are there? Does Bejeweled
I
still
think Peggle's
exist?
more of a strategy game, and there's not really strategy games anymore either. So,
Yeah, it's really tough.
yeah, 2013, a solemn year in gaming, I would say.
Yeah.
This has been Main Street Gamers 2013 Year in Review podcast. Chin up, everybody. 2014 is right around the corner, and well, it probably won't be very good either.